Ergogenic aids are common in every sport, and this video will focus on those used in hockey. The first supplements that athletes use in hockey are creatine monohydrate, carbohydrate powder, and beta-alanine. Creatine monohydrate is ingested by athletes usually in a powder form mixed with their drink. This provides the athlete with an extra storage of creatine, which delays the anaerobic time to failure, or to fatigue. This allows for improvements in muscular power output and strength ability. Athletes generally take 5 grams per day whenever it's convenient for them. Carbohydrate powder is used to fuel the nervous system so that it won't fatigue as quickly. This powder contains readily available forms of glucose that allows the system to be ready for muscular contractions. It is generally taken during games and resistance training, and athletes aim for 30 to 60 grams of this carbohydrate powder during activity. The third supplement is beta-alanine. Usually used as a pre-workout, beta-alanine binds with L-histidine to create carnosine. This acts as a buffer between muscular contraction and fatigue-inducing metabolites, which delays overall fatigue. 2 to 5 grams are taken per day, and although they may be taken at any time, they are best absorbed when taken with a meal. Division II athletes should be aware of beta-alanine that they are putting in their body, as many times it contains caffeine, which is on the D2 banned substances list. Sometimes athletes take supplements that are harmful to their body. This is denied by Jeremy Roenick, an ex-NHL player.
What he's done.
Do you think over the years the NHL has had a problem?
Never. It's never had a problem. Our league is squeaky clean. We had one guy that tested positive, which was Brian McCabe, but he was taking a steroid because he was blind in one eye, and doctors were giving him some kind of aid to help him see a little bit out of his eye that he lost in a game against Ottawa. And the other guy was the goaltender who put Propecia in his hair. So his hair was thinning, so he put in a little Propecia so he'd look better for the ladies, and that tested positive. Besides that, our sport is squeaky clean. We have no problems with that. Well, it's a different mindset. We can't get too big in hockey. If we get too big and too strong, all of a sudden our agility breaks down. We're not able to get around the ice as much as possible. We can't catch some of these young flying speedsters that are young and work really hard in the gym to make sure that they're physically fit to play the game. Steroids would be a terrible thing in hockey. It would really hurt the player. I don't think they'd be able to survive with getting bulky and having that lack of mobility because of doing it.
Jeremy states that the NHL is squeaky clean, and it would appear that way. In the past 10 years, only 2 players have tested positive for banned substances, the most recent being Zenon Konopka, who was suspended for 20 games in 2014 for an undisclosed performance-enhancing drug. However, there have always been players who have skated past NHL testing but who have gotten nailed at pre-Olympic tests, such as Nicholas Backstrom, Byron Berard, and Jose Theodore. Former NHL enforcer Georges Laraque states that he noticed every 4 years talented players would experience efficiency and weight loss and make strong comebacks the year after. These specific years would of course be the same as the ones where the Winter Olympics were held. Getting down to the specific drugs, former Wild defenseman Sean Hill, which is the only other NHL player suspended for PEDs, tested positive for illegal anabolic steroid boldenone. Boldenone has anabolic effects such as increased muscle mass, strength, and the ability to train harder and longer. It can also speed the healing process. However, major side effects for men can include increased risk for cancer, heart and liver disease, testicular atrophy, reduced sperm count, infertility, and development of breasts. It is both illegal and highly advised against. Other PEDs that are anecdotally used include erythropoietin. Increased erythropoietin hormone increases the rate of production of red blood cells and allows more oxygen to get to an athlete's muscles, allowing him more energy and strength at the end of each shift. This allows him to be fresher during the game and play more effectively. Using erythropoietin is considered blood doping and leaves athletes at a higher risk of blood clots, heart attacks, or strokes, as well as increased blood pressure and may cause mild flu-like symptoms. Laraque said that enforcers would use substances such as ephedrine to desensitize themselves before fights. He stated that he could see his opponent's arms trembling and eyes bulging. This was a sign that he knew his opponent would not feel any of the punches that he received. However, there is little evidence to support this claim. Ephedrine works much like natural adrenaline, stimulating the central nervous system to increase heart rate and blood pressure, narrowing blood vessels, and opening the lungs. It is generally used for breathing problems, asthma, and nasal congestions. The current collective bargaining agreement expanded random drug tests to include off-season and playoffs, and expanded the list of banned substances in the NHL. However, only 60 players can be tested during the summer, and HGH is still illegal.